Hello everyone, good day. I hope you are doing well today. Let's take a moment to think about the world we live in. Every day we wake up on a planet that gives us air, water, food, and life itself. Yet somewhere along the way, we began treating the planet not as a home, but as a warehouse. Something to take from, not something to protect. I am Indira Malaysia, and together with Kelompok 9 from the Faculty of Law UNTAP Surabaya, we invite you to ask a question that legal system around the world are only beginning to take seriously. What if nature hit rates?
You stand in an Andean valley, wind on your face, cool soil underfoot. For thousands of years, long before courts or constitutions, people here had a name for the living world: Pachamama. In Quechua, Pacha means earth or world, Mama means mother. Pachamama is not a metaphor, not poetic decoration. She is a living system that breathes, grows, and sustains all life, including yours. This worldview didn't place humans above nature. It placed you inside it, one part of something far greater. A child of the earth, not its owner. For centuries, this philosophy lived in mountain terraces, river bends, and the hands of farmers and healers, passed down in stories, songs, and practice. Quietly, it kept balance even as the modern world built laws around a different idea. Today, that old name still reminds us the planet is a partner, not property, and listening matters.
Indonesia is home to the third largest rainforest on the earth. It hosts more species of the plant and animals than almost any other countries. And yet deforestation, population, and land destruction continue at the pace the alarm science and legal experts alike. I'm Andika Teja Widayata. My question is, knowing what Ecuador has done, recording sticks natural as a legal subjects, their contraction, and can Indonesia do the same? So this peace.
You stand on a riverbank in Ecuador in 2008, hearing water and birds, and you learn something astonishing. A country just gave nature legal rights. Ecuador rewrote its constitution and declared Pachamama, the living earth, has rights to exist, to maintain itself, and to regenerate. This wasn't about property or permits. It was about recognizing rivers, forests, and mountains as subjects of law. Article 71 flipped centuries of thinking that nature exists only to serve people. Instead, law began to protect nature's own life cycles, structure, and functions. That shift turned environmental harm into a legal issue, not just an economic or scientific one. Lawyers, activists, and communities worldwide took notice. You feel the possibility. Laws can do more than regulate use. They can honor existence. Ecuador planted a seed, and now debates, cases, and movements carry that idea forward. Imagine your local stream gaining a voice. That's the legal revolution Ecuador started.
What's its Pachamama? Son of yours before and constitution was ever written, the indigenous peoples of the Andes already understood something that modern law is still staging up to, that a art is no property, it is murder. I am Moh Satrio Ilham Wicaksono, and the constitution I bring to you today is this: what is Pachamama, and how did our country turn ancient belief in, into the most progressive environmental law in the world? Thank you.
You stand on an Indonesian riverbank, breath fogging with humidity, listening to a soundscape older than nations. Lush canopy, bird calls, the distant churn of a palm oil mill, a contradiction in one scene. Indonesia holds the third largest rainforest and dizzying biodiversity. Orchids like painted butterflies, tigers slipping through shadow, coral cities offshore. Yet for decades, this abundance has been treated as timber, land, profit. Rivers darken with waste, mangroves vanish, communities lose ancestral ground. Law number 32 of 2009 promises protection, but promises without teeth let chainsaws speak louder than statutes. Pachamama, Mother Earth, asks a different question. What if nature had rights, not only rules? Imagine forests as legal subjects, rivers with standing in court, communities co-managing ecosystems. It's not fantasy, it's a shift from manage to respect. The choice is practical and ethical. Preserve life, livelihoods, and culture, or keep selling the very future that sustains you. What will you choose? You walk along a river in Indonesia and wonder, could it have rights, like Pachamama? The answer is complicated, but not impossible. Indonesia's system is civil law. Constitutional change is doable, though politically steep. Article 33 says earth, water, and resources are controlled by the state for the people's greatest benefit. That's a foundation, but it frames nature as state property, not a rights holder. Shifting to a Pachamama approach means more than new clauses. It asks lawmakers, judges, companies, and citizens to reimagine relationships with land. It would mean a river's right to flow, a forest's right to stand, and treating destruction as a legal wrong. Indigenous beliefs across the archipelago already carry this spirit: land as living relationship, not commodity. Scholars and advocates are pushing this conversation. The question is whether legal imagination can catch up, whether Indonesia will dare to ask and answer that bold question. Picture two countries across a wide blue, Indonesia and Ecuador. Both pulse with life, rainforest breath, coral color, languages woven with ancestral knowledge. You hear the rivers, the market, the elders. They are megadiverse, custodians of species and stories that underpin our planet. Imagine formal partnership, not just treaties, but shared law, lessons, and solidarity. Ecuador's experiment, treating nature's rights and constitutions, offers hard-won insights, legal tools, pitfalls, and community-centered enforcement. Indonesia brings scale, archipelagic complexity, and urgent need to protect forests and reefs. This is about practical exchange, training judges, co-developing indigenous land protections, coordinating prosecutions for environmental crimes, and translating principles into local governance. It's about two nations learning together within global frameworks, Paris, CBD, UNFCCC, but stepping beyond to craft bilateral mechanisms that honor ecosystems as subjects, not objects. Across the Pacific, there is a foundation for hope. Cooperation could turn shared peril into shared protection, a blueprint for biodiverse nations everywhere. You stand at a riverbank, Jakarta, feeling heat and hush where water once sang. You remember Ecuador's bold step, rights for nature, Pachamama recognized in law. This is not a distant story. It's a wake-up call. Environmental loss doesn't wait for votes or court opinions. Trees fall while debates linger. A formal Indonesia-Ecuador partnership would ripple beyond capitals. It would tell the global South that leadership can come from those who have most to lose. Courage isn't wealth. It's asking a different question. Not what we take, but what we owe. Indonesia holds guardianship. Communities, scholars, youth. Imagine laws that reflect belonging, write reciprocity into policy. This is urgent. The window narrows without delay. If you care for rivers, forests, people, push for bold legal change in Jakarta, in Quito, across the archipelago. The earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to it now.
Three questions, three perspectives, but they all point to the same truth, that the way we define nature in our lives determine how we treat in a practice. I am Nabila. What Pachamama teaches us is not just about Ecuador, it's a mirror held up to every nation, including ours, asking, are we doing enough? Are we even asking the right question?
Ecuador became the first country in history to write the right of nature into its constitution, not as metaphor, not as poetry, as law. Saya Renggaleo Saputra. Protecting nature is no longer simple and an environmental issue. It is a legal one, moral one, and perhaps the most urgent constitutional question of our generation. Thank you for watching. This has been kelompok 9 Faculty of Law, Untak, Surabaya.